One of the lessons that we learned from Black Hammer's saga was never move to the compound.
Which is something that we've always said on this podcast. In fact, it's a TrueAnon rule.
Yeah.
Never move to the compound. That is not the case with Owen Benjamin.
Mm-mm. No. He and his whole thing, he comes with this idea during a live stream. If all of his viewers, and fuck, we should do this. So I'm not even sure, actually, Liz, I don't know if we should mention this on the show because maybe we want to do this at some point. If all of his viewers give him $400, he can buy a giant plot of land in northern Idaho.
Funny enough, right near Sandpoint, Idaho, where the three of us actually were for far too long.
Not that, yeah, yes. Yeah, I spent a lot of my life there.
Yes, I'm saying that, when we recorded the game, we were there, right by where he has a compound that he's called Bertoria.
So northern Idaho, obviously very famous for Aryan Nations, like all these different like right-wing, like Christian identity movement compounds. That's like where you go to do a compound in America.
Yeah.
But he had promised this thing on this live stream that was like, he's going to have cabins for the bears, which is, he calls his fans, shooting ranges, fishing, they'd make clothes, they'd live off the land. And if people contributed $400, they could come stay there. It was sort of billed as this utopia away from the world of the Grabbler, by which I mean the Jew.
Okay. So it's like a crowd-funded Aryan Nation Jonestown compound for the live streamer set. This sounds like a fucking nightmare.
It sounds like an absolute nightmare. So he's bragging about his own private paramilitary force called Vertac Tactical. Christ, that's a mouthful. And there's a couple of headlines. I think there's one or two like national news articles about it. I think one in the Daily Beast. I think one in the Daily Mail. So a lot of dailies there. Calling it like the next Ruby Ridge, which I think he also makes some.
I think he was trying to brand it as the next Ruby Ridge.
Yes. Yeah, I think he was.
Which is a hell of a thing to kind of claim. But, really falls right in line with his kind of like shock jock trajectory, right?
Well, so his whole thing at first is he was going to build this like big compound for everybody to live on. And then he's like, oh, I actually can't afford that. He raised about $400,000. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, I actually can't afford the other compound. I'm going to buy this smaller plot of land for $500,000, which he buys via Black Rifle Realty. Mm-hmm. Black Rifle Realty. And he makes this documentary, a few documentaries actually, called Building Bertoria. Unbearably boring. But I think one clip about the road to serfdom, perhaps, would fit here.
So builder buddies are it's a modern take on serfdom where you have an arrangement with an individual. In this case, I'm arranging for a place to park and sustenance in exchange for my labor. And I'm also apprenticing from a permaculture expert who is providing me with knowledge. So it's a win-win for both parties.
His daily duties vary. Usually it's things I don't want to do.
And we don't have any, no energy is lost to friction in the form of taxes because there's not any money being exchanged.
So this is the kind of place that he's building for his followers, right?
Yeah.
Is literally, serfdom.
Yes. He's got
he's got a bunch of fucking like follower interns.
He's got like this property in the Ozarks in Missouri, I think, and he's got this place in Idaho. And I think his eventual plan is like, all right, we're going to actually separate the compounds. I'm going to live with my family in Idaho. You can't come visit. You guys all have to live in trailers in Missouri.